It is dawn in Taipei, Taiwan. The military there is on high alert, where the Chinese promise to make America and Taiwan pay for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit. There is one undisputed winner tonight in Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. She's over my right shoulder. It's Nancy Pelosi. Beyond that, who knows? Seriously. The latest threats from China reads to the effect that Pelosi is playing with fire and the U.S. must pay the price for its mistakes. These moves, like playing with fire, are extremely dangerous. The U.S. side will bear the responsibility and pay the price for undermining China's sovereign security interests. Right now, the Chinese and American navies are eye to eye in an area about the size of the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to get to the maps in just a second. The Chinese say they plan live fire drills starting tomorrow. We'll show you the map in 6 different areas that completely surround Taiwan, a hostile military firing on all sides of that island nation. That's going to happen after Pelosi leaves. That's when we'll figure out exactly what the Chinese will do. In the end, there will not be any hostile activity against Taiwan. It is Taiwan that will pay the price for a visit. Pelosi will be safe. The notorious liberal foreign policy columnist Tom Friedman writes, I have a lot of respect for House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, but if she does go ahead with a visit to Taiwan this week, he wrote a couple of days ago, against President Biden's wishes, she will be doing something that is utterly reckless, dangerous, and irresponsible. Nothing good will come of it. Nothing good. That's not necessarily true. Friedman, if you read him, is seldom right, but never in doubt. However, he is correct about one thing. A lot of bad could come from this. We've come over to the maps to show you exactly what that might be. We'll put the maps up here first that will exist in this monitor sometime. The Straits of Taiwan, 100 miles here. This is where the Chinese have been flying a huge number of sorties of their fighter aircraft. They have hardened the beaches here with tanks and long-range missiles aimed at Taiwan. A number of Chinese fighter jets have flown up to this line in the middle over and over. These are the areas that the Chinese Navy are planning their live fire drills, completely surrounding this island nation and making it very clear to the Taiwanese that the Chinese Navy could cut it off if they wanted to. The USS Ronald Reagan is down here in the South China Sea with its carrier battle group. We're going to go ahead and go to the next map to show you that. Ronald Reagan down here. This is off the Philippines here. Interestingly enough, when Nancy Pelosi flew, she flew all the way from Singapore down here around the Philippines and back up to Taiwan to avoid and give the U.S. Air Force and our radar space to see what the Chinese were doing. You've got the USS Tripoli here farther north, more American ships. You've obviously got the U.S. bases here in South Korea, more U.S. bases in Japan, and then obviously U.S. forces down here in Guam and some of the other islands. Important to note what we're talking about, which is the South China Sea. That's this area here, and then the Straits of Taiwan here and going out here. 20%, 22%, a third to a quarter of all the world's trade goes through this area. China has militarized what are called the Spratly Islands, if we have pictures of those. There's a big bunch of island chains here, here, and here that the Chinese built up so that they can control the South China Sea. They have airfields and missile silos on there. A skirmish between the U.S. and China on the high seas, either here or here, well, that would make Putin's price hike look like an afternoon rain shower compared to a Category 5 economic hurricane that could come depending on what China does in response. Matt Drudge topped his website saying, "One giant step for freedom, Pelosi in Taiwan." That may really only be half a sentence. It is only a step for freedom if that promise for freedom is backed up by President Biden. It has not been. In fact, President Biden told her not to go, which is a big change from things he said over the past few months, when he seemed to actually get tougher with China and promise American military support if Taiwan is invaded.
We support the Taiwan Act, and that's it. It's independence. It makes its own decisions.
After each one of those, the president's staff walked this promise back. Here today is the White House Director of Strategic Communications speaking yesterday about Pelosi's trip.
Why did the president bother with this drama from the beginning? I mean, why not, rather than saying the military doesn't think it's a good idea to go, why not call the Chinese bluff or tell them to pound sand when they started bellyaching about the possibility of this trip? Given, as you pointed out, there's no change in policy and there's precedent for Pelosi to visit Taiwan.
So what's the drama?
Have you watched the Bravies the last couple of weeks? I mean, there's been this question of...
Yeah, I've been here the last couple of weeks. I haven't seen any drama. I think you're manufacturing it with your question.
John Kirby's good, but Phil Wegman has an important point. China threatens war, and we're not supposed to ask about it. Third in line for the presidency goes to Taiwan, and maybe the media should ignore it because there's no drama. Remember, it was the president, Kirby's boss, that said she should not go.
I think that the military thinks it's not a good idea right now, but I don't know what the status of it is.
History tells us weakness and equivocation. Well, that is what makes right now so dangerous. It is provocative to the Chinese, the Russians, to any bully. Well, these are dangerous times. The Chinese now don't know what we will do because we haven't told them. But they will find out. They will test us. There are no guarantees right now. War with China, miscalculation with China over the next 6 days is a very real possibility and a dangerous one. That's On Point tonight. Congressman Mike Garcia, former Navy fighter pilot, is with us on why the Chinese feel so emboldened and what our military options are. But first, Ting Ting Liu, foreign affairs and military reporter for TVBS, that's Taiwan's 24-hour news channel, joins us from Taipei now Wednesday morning, where she'll be covering Pelosi's visit with their president. Ting Ting, thank you for being up with us early. I know it is there. The big Taipei Tower was lit up with messages of love and thanks to Nancy Pelosi. What does her visit mean to your country?
Thanks for having me. Indeed, we are actually seeing a very warm reception and warm welcoming in not only the Taiwanese officials, but also the people in Taiwan. So when Pelosi's flight actually arrived in Taipei last night, hundreds and thousands of people actually gathered close to the airport with their phones, with their cameras, trying to take a shot of the plane. And as the entourage drove through the streets of Taipei, cheers could be heard. Though there are some protests that happens across the hotel that she stays in, but generally the atmosphere is still quite well received. There are many people who came out with their own self-made placards, trying their best to welcome Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. But of course, the people in Taiwan are still watching her visit with caution. And what we know right now is that what's happening right now is that Pelosi has actually just arrived at the de facto American embassy, the American Institute in Taiwan, just a few minutes ago.
Got it.
And then she's going to
she's going to meet with your president. I think about Ting Ting. I think about your country. 23 million people, the 8th largest trading partner to the United States. It's a democratic enclave 100 miles from the world's largest communist nuclear power, which is, of course, China. The Chinese have promised to make Taiwan pay. They've said that there will be targeted military operations. Any idea what those are? What precautions is the Taiwanese Defense Forces taking?
Indeed, we have seen the PLA Army announce late at night that they will actually be organizing military exercise at 6 zones surrounding Taiwan. And it is of concern to many here because some of this zone actually trespass into our territorial waters. So, how would actually the Taiwanese defense respond if that were to happen? And responding to PLA's announcement of military exercises around Taiwan from the 4th to 7th August. And look, the 4th of August is immediately after Pelosi's departure from Taiwan. So the Ministry of Defense spokesperson actually told me that the ministry solemnly condemns such an action. He said that the CCP's announcement of using the sea and airspace and Taiwan's main island as a live firing area is an attempt to threaten Taiwan's key ports and urban areas unilaterally undermining regional peace and stability. He continued further to say that this move will not help China's international image, and it will hurt people on both sides of the cross straits.
Yeah,
and
you have to wonder. China
to monitor very closely.
Yeah, China does not seem to be heeding any warnings, whether it be from the White House or from your country's leadership as well. Ting Ting, thank you very much. I know you got a busy day ahead of you after a long night. We appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.